She called the cops on me. At my house. Claimed I was squatting on property I didn't even belong to. After 6 brutal weeks out on the fire lines, sweating through smoke, ash, and adrenaline. I come home dreaming of nothing more than a hot shower and a clean bed. But the moment I turn onto my street, I see her. Carol, our beloved HOA president, live streaming from the edge of my driveway like she's TMZ catching a celebrity meltdown. I barely put the truck in park before she starts yelling. Her voice cuts through the air, piercing and relentless, calling me a fraudulent federal agent to her dozen viewers like she's cracked open some nationwide scandal. She's decked out in her trademark blinding neon windbreaker, platinum hair stiff with hairspray, and righteous fury in her eyes. Then come the squad cars. 3 of them, boxed up in front of my place like I'm public enemy number 1. Cops step out slow, eyes scanning, hands hovering near their hips like I'm about to pull a bazooka out of my soot-covered backpack. That was my welcome home. Let me rewind. I'm Alex. I work for the Bureau of Land Management. When a wildfire ignites, we don't get the luxury of a schedule. We go. Simple as that. Everyone around here knows it, including Carol. But she shows up holding a manila folder like she's building a federal case. Inside, HOA bylaws. A utility bill with her name photoshopped over mine. Some crackpot theory that if a house sits empty for 30 days, the HOA automatically claims it like a repo man on a boat. The officers, to their credit, don't jump to conclusions, but they have to follow protocol. I'm running on fumes, explaining who I am, why I look like I crawled through a chimney, and Carol's still shoving her phone in my face, narrating every moment of my apprehension. That's when backup arrives, but not for her. My neighbor Maria, bless her, comes storming down the street holding up my spare key like a torch. He lives here, Carol. I've been watering his garden for weeks. Maria is in her 70s. No nonsense. Bakes lemon bars for every funeral. And has zero tolerance for idiocy. Carol spins on her like a fox caught off guard, suddenly accusing Maria of being part of some elder abuse ring helping imposters infiltrate the neighborhood. One of the officers bites back a laugh. Eventually, Officer Davis checks my ID, cross-references it with property records, and shakes his head with an apologetic smile. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. You're good to go. Carol? Not done. Not even close. By the next morning, I wake up to a barrage of HOA violations in my inbox. My lawn is too tall. Birds chirping after dark. A complaint about my car being parked at a threatening angle. Even an accusation that I was breathing irregularly in the shared space near the mailbox. Then I find her new website, Expose the Faker. Front page, a pixelated photo of me grabbing my mail, blown up and slapped over a fake wanted poster. Comic Sans. Red arrows. The works. She's launched a YouTube channel too, uploading videos titled The Truth About Unit 17, with voiceovers like she's solving the Zodiac. If it wasn't destroying my life, it'd be funny. Day 3. I wake up to hammering outside. I look out the window, and my yard has been invaded. 30 wooden stakes, all labeled HOA property, stabbed into my grass in a perfect grid. Carol's out front barking orders to her husband Bob, who's moving like a soldier under siege, drenched in sweat and flinching every time he glances at my house. Keep it calm. Document everything. Photos, GPS coordinates. I even send her a cease and desist letter. Within hours, she's live on Facebook again, this time setting the letter on fire and declaring it a scare tactic from government operatives. That evening, Maria meets me near the fence like we're Cold War spies. She slips me an old newspaper clipping. Carol's grandfather lost the family fortune in a poker game at the Silver Dollar Casino. Blamed the government instead of his own bad hand. Passed the story down like gospel. And suddenly it all makes sense. This isn't about me. Not really. Carol doesn't hate me. She hates everything I represent. In her eyes, I'm just the next chapter in a grudge that started long before either of us was born. A federal agent in her neighborhood, living proof of a world her family swore betrayed them. And now I've inherited her war. For years, she built a legend around herself. a myth that crowned her the self-appointed marshal of a block most folks barely remembered. The next morning, I start taking down the stakes, slow and deliberate, documenting each action in case I'd need it later. I'm halfway through stacking them by the curb when Carol's back on the phone with 911, claiming I'm dismantling HOA property and hiding weapons in my shed. I glance at the shed. Inside, just a rake, a shovel, and a half-used bag of grass seed. "Ma'am, we're dispatching all available units," the operator says. Carol looks at me like she's just checkmated me in some spy thriller, mouthing the word as if this were MI6 business. Then come the flashing lights. 5 cruisers, SWAT rolling up, a chopper overhead, which, let's be honest, was probably just doing a traffic report Carol hijacked for drama. I'm standing there, watering can in hand, as a full tactical unit surrounds my little shed like it's harboring contraband. They breach it, find nothing but my gardening supplies, and Officer Davis looks seconds away from walking off the job. Carol, still trying to salvage her performance, grabs my badge and declares that BLM stands for Black Lives Matter, not Bureau of Land Management, insisting it's fake. Davis finally loses patience, runs my ID through federal databases, and confirms I'm exactly who I claim to be. You'd think that'd put the matter to rest, but Carol's already planning her next live stream. A week later, she calls a so-called emergency HOA meeting. She's printed 200 copies of an agenda, borrowed a full AV system from her nephew, and prepped a slideshow like she's unveiling state secrets. I show up late, maybe 15 people total, half of them just there for the entertainment. Maria even brought popcorn, and Bob looks like he'd prefer a lightning strike to another minute of the circus. Carol launches into her presentation. One slide shows me reading a gardening magazine, another's a vacation photo with some random arrows pointing at nothing. When she finally calls for a vote to ban fake federal agents from the neighborhood forever, 3 hands go up: hers, her best friend's, and one guy who was mid-stretch. Then the fallout hits. My boss calls. "We've received 47 FOIA requests with your name on them." Carol's been busy, reporting me to the EPA, the CIA, even Space Force, claiming I'm using satellites to spy on her backyard. But the wildest part? Someone sends her an official invitation to a recognition event downtown. She shows up in a fresh blazer, rehearsed speech in hand, expecting praise. The room is full, neighbors, local reporters, a few agents posted up in the back. The curtain rises, and instead of an award, Carol finds herself center stage. Footage from her live streams, recordings of her 911 calls, all play on the big screen. The prosecutor starts listing out charges. Maria testifies. Even Bob steps up and, with a sigh, admits he's covered for her antics for years. By the end, Carol is ghost pale. She's arrested for harassment and filing false reports. Her phone, still filming, captures her stunned face as they lead her out. The whole room is silent, until someone whispers, "She finally went viral." I nearly laugh. 3 months go by. The neighborhood feels changed. Carol's gone. Maria's now HOA president. Bob's dating his therapist. Our monthly violation meetings have turned into laid-back potlucks. My lawn finally gets to grow past regulation height without anyone calling in reinforcements. Then a letter arrives from Carol. She's working at a grocery store attending support groups. There's a photo enclosed. She says she's working on making peace with the past. I look out at my yard, scorched by fire, battered by storms, and now, finally, calm. And I wonder, when someone finally owns up to their mistakes, when they truly let go of their need to control, do we forgive them? Or are some lines just too deeply crossed? Let me know. I read everything. And honestly, sometimes, letting the truth shine is all the justice you need.